Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the What's a Big Deal podcast. I am so excited for today because we are going to be talking about forgiveness. I've been waiting to talk about this topic. I am so excited to, because I think that a lot of people find it difficult to navigate through forgiveness and what it actually is. I'm really excited to talk about this with you guys. Let's get right into it. Okay, so I kind of wanted to just start off by saying that forgiveness is not easy. Forgiveness is so difficult, it's especially hard to give somebody grace and forgive them when what they've done to you feels almost unforgivable and so hurtful. I think that sometimes we can feel like when we forgive somebody, it can almost feel like we're excusing their behavior. And I want to just tell you right now that anything that I say throughout this episode, I'm not excusing anybody's behavior towards you because some people are honestly just terrible people and you did not deserve what they said or did to you. So I just want to say that before we really get deep into this. Coming from that, I do want you to hear me out on this though. Sometimes when somebody hurts you, it's better to just forgive them and move on and just say it is what it is. Because you cannot force somebody to apologize to you. You cannot force somebody to fix the situation that you and that person or you and that group of people are going through. I actually used to feel very stir crazy when somebody wouldn't want to fix a situation that I was included in, whether it was just one person, like between them and me, or like a group of people. I would have like mental breakdowns because I couldn't fix it. It wasn't in my control. That just gave me way more anxiety than I needed. I actually talked about stuff similar to that in our episode of worry. Sometimes when people wouldn't want to fix the situation between me and them, it would make me feel like I didn't matter, which really just hurt me more because all they would do was avoid the situation, or sometimes I'd get laughed at if I try to explain things, or people would smile at me when I tried to explain things that hurt me. I don't know if any of you have ever experienced that, but it is very hurtful when somebody does that. It's almost like manipulating, or them kind of just, again, acting like it doesn't matter to them. So it made it even more difficult to forgive people when they would do that, especially when they, again, made me feel like I didn't matter in these situations. So I kind of wanted to deep dive into, or not deep dive, but just kind of surface one particular thing that happened to me. It does include my now ex-best friend, and going into this, I am not looking to shame her in any way, shape, or form. I don't want to shame anybody, not ever on this podcast. So moving forward, I just want to let people know that in case somebody who knows her and what our situation was watches this, I'm not looking to shame her at all. It's just my experience, and I'm going to share an experience that I had. Again, if I experienced it, it's my life. And I want this podcast to be as real and vulnerable as I can get it, because not a lot of people have somebody to look up to when they've gone through some specific situations. So, just to throw this out there, I do want to do an episode on friendships, or even a series, maybe. If you guys commented down below and let me know some things that you wanted me to speak on regarding friendships and relationships, I would love to hear that. But anyways, back to the episode. Yes, my now ex-best friend, we had a lot of issues for a few years. I think we were friends for like 4 years or so. But there was a lot of things that went on in that friendship that I didn't really recognize until late last year. But anyways, a lot of the time when we would be in a disagreement or a small argument, not saying I'm not perfect in these situations either, but she would always find a way to flip it onto me. She would always find a way to flip whatever I was dealing with or whatever she did that I was trying to communicate with her with or on. She would always flip it back on me and act like the victim. So yeah, she hurt me a lot of times. She would always say a lot of, again, hurtful things towards me regarding my mental health or just other things, because insecure people like to hurt people, okay? Let's be real. Which I realize that now. I every time we would get in an argument, when she would flip it on me, I would always be the one to apologize, even when it wasn't my fault. I would say sorry just because I didn't want to handle it anymore. I didn't want to deal with her excuses, so I would just apologize to just get it over with, which isn't bad. But again, she had a lot of unforgiveness in her heart, and that hurt me just to think about. It would always be so incredibly hard for me to forgive her in these moments because, it would always be really hard for me to forgive her in these moments because, again, like I said earlier, it almost felt like I was excusing her behavior. It really did feel like that. So again, forgiving her always felt so difficult for me. After I would forgive her though, like even if it wasn't directly in her face or if it was just me in my room just sitting there while I'm crying after all the things that she had said to me, I had this like total mind switch that just completely, like grace completely washed over me like every single time. And I would just have this voice telling me, just forgive her. And it gave me so much peace to just say it out loud. Even though I was still hurting in that moment, just speaking it out loud and just saying, I forgive her, it really, again, just brought like the supernatural grace and peace over me, which was really cool and really weird and difficult all at the same time. I don't really know how to explain it. But yeah, I say this a lot. Hurt people, okay? Hurt people. You have no idea what people are going through. You have no idea what is going through somebody's mind. You know what's going on in your mind, but you don't have any idea what that person has gone through in their life. Maybe you do, but you don't know what's going on in their life or in their mind in that moment, you know? So I've learned over time to not take everything to heart. I've learned a lot of lessons in my life already, and I'm only 19 years old. And one of the main things that I've learned is to not take everything deeply to heart, because again, you have no idea what somebody is going through. All right, in Ephesians 4:32 it says, "Be kind and What the heck? Okay, let's redo that. Ephesians 4:32 says, "Be kind and compassionate." Why? Guys, wait, what? Why do I keep saying it? I feel like I keep saying it weird. Okay, let's try that. Third time's a charm. Ephesians 4:32 says, "Be kind and compassionate to one another, forgiving each other just as Christ God forgave you." Yes, we got it. Let's go. So Jesus did the ultimate act of forgiveness, and he died for you. He didn't have to do that. Wow, I'm getting messages. He did not have to do that. Yeah, he died for you. He was whipped and beaten for you. So the least that you could do is forgive somebody that hurt you. I think that forgiveness is probably the most Christ-like thing that we could ever do. I think forgiving someone and giving them grace affects somebody way, way more than acting out in anger or hurting somebody with our words, you know? I wrote this down a little while ago. Well, when did I write this down? No, not a while ago. It was literally a few days ago. But it says, I think forgiveness heals the wound where shame made its mark. I was like, whoa, that is definitely from Jesus. That really hit me. Again, I'll say it again. I think forgiveness heals the wound where shame made its mark. I think that there is something so beautiful about forgiveness, because not everybody does it. Not everybody forgives. A lot of the time, I think people hold on to the hurt and the things that people have done to them, and that's not a way to live. That is not the way God created us to live out our lives. That's not how we are meant to live out our lives at all. I think our flesh likes to act out in violence and hurt the people and the person that hurt us. We can create bitterness and shame in ourselves when we don't forgive or give that person grace, which again is not how God intended us to live out our lives. Alright, in Luke 6, when it talks about loving our enemies, more specifically in verse Luke 6:27 through 31, it says, But to you who are listening, I say, love your enemies, do good to those who hate you, bless those who curse you, pray for those who mistreat you. If someone slaps you on one cheek, turn to them the other also. If someone takes your coat, do not withhold your shirt from them. Give to everyone who asks you. And if anyone takes what belongs to you, do not demand it back. Do to others as you would have them do to you. And I think that when I use that verse as an example, I'm sure some of you are like, what the heck are you talking about? Again, because that verse may seem like I'm pointing out, like, let's not excuse that person's behavior, whatever they've done to me. But as Christians, we are called to be different. Jesus literally calls us to be different from the world. We are not called to be the same as the world. Again, it may seem like the Lord is telling us to let that person get away with whatever they've done. But the Lord says that vengeance is His. In Romans 12:19, it says, Do not take revenge, my dear friends, but leave room for God's wrath, for it is written, It is mine to avenge. I will repay, says the Lord. It is not our job to take control of the situation. Forgive them. Give them grace, even if it's the most difficult thing that you have ever gone through in your entire life. Give that person and give those people grace. Give them the gift of forgiveness and let God do the rest. Lay it at God's feet. Like I said in the episode of Worry, lay it at God's feet and let God do the rest. Again, like I talked about in the episode of Worry, trying to take control of a situation is just going to give you more anxiety. It's going to make you more anxious. So lay it in God's hands. God heard things that you didn't. God saw things that you didn't. Okay? Do not let this situation, do not let those people ruin the peace that God has gifted to you. Okay? Do not let those people's opinions, don't let their actions, don't let their words ruin the gift of peace that the Lord has given you. And I'm speaking that from my heart. Do not let it ruin the gift of peace that God has given to you. Giving somebody grace and forgiving somebody can feel so painful, and it can feel like it's hurting you sometimes. You know that feeling? But it is actually healing you. It is actually healing your heart and healing your mind from things you don't even realize. You may have to forgive them 1,000,000 times out loud. Oh boy, have I said I forgive this person out loud. I've said that so many freaking times. It is unbelievable. I'd be rich, okay? I would be rich. Piles of money, okay? If that says anything. So don't be embarrassed for the amount of times that you have to say, I forgive this person, okay? Jesus tells Peter in Matthew 18:21-35 to forgive not 7 times, but 77 times. By that, Jesus was saying that there should be no limit to how often we forgive and should forgive one another. So he's basically just saying, again, there's no limit to how many times you should or can forgive somebody. It can be 1,000,000,000 times. You could forgive that person every day for the rest of your life. It doesn't matter, okay? We all sin. Me, you, the most perfect person on the entire planet, we are all sinners. We all make mistakes. So why hold a grudge against that person that hurt you? I know they hurt you. I know they did. But why hold a grudge against them when you yourself have done things wrong too? You know what it's like to feel unforgiven. You have been on that other side of the forgiveness, okay? You have been on that other side. Imagine how that person feels too. Maybe they are sorry on the inside, but they're too afraid to apologize. So just forgive them. Give them that gift of forgiveness. Forgiveness is healing your heart. Forgiveness is healing your mind of things that you may not even know are hurting. Okay? And just remember, if you try and talk it out with someone, if you try and fix a problem and they say, "No, I don't want to," okay? Like, my ex-best friend did that to me. She told me she did not want to talk about it. And I just had to tell myself, it is what it is. You cannot control that situation. So, what are you gonna do about it? Forgive them anyway. Don't push that pain aside. If you need to talk it out, do that. But forgive them, not 7 times, but 77 times. Say it as much as you need. It is a gift to give somebody forgiveness, especially when they don't deserve it. Forgiving somebody can soften your heart and maybe even theirs. So give that forgiveness to somebody today. Lay whatever situation you are dealing with right now at the Lord's feet. Forgiveness is such a beautiful thing, and again, it can heal the mark that shame had on them or you. Forgive actually means to let go. So let go of the person or the people that are hurting you. Let them go, forgive them. Especially if it's something you can't fix, just let it go. You're just gonna make yourself so much more anxious than you need to be. Anxiety and anxiousness is not from the Lord. He would never try and put you in that situation. He actually tries to take you out of those situations. So again, forgive, give those people grace, say it is what it is. Put up a boundary if you need to with that person or those people. And again, forgiveness is a gift from God. Forgiveness can heal. Forgiveness can break through things that you don't even know it can break through yet. It is healing. So forgive somebody today if you haven't. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode. I really, really hope that this spoke to your heart. And if you took notes, I love that for you. That is amazing. I'm so excited to just make more episodes like these. If you guys have anything specific you want me to do an episode on, comment below, DM me, do whatever you want to do. Again, thank you so much for watching this episode about forgiveness, and I can't wait to see you guys next time. Bye. Have a good night or day or whenever you're watching this. See you guys later.